Samech, just unmute yourself if you have an answer to this. Anybody can think of great Hebrew words that begin with this letter Samech?
Seder.
Seder, exactly. Seder.
Seder.
When you hear modern Hebrew today, when you ask someone Manishma, how are you? What do they say?
Seder.
Seder.
Seder. Seder. They're in order. Everything's in order,
Seder.
which means I'm okay. Things are in order. But of course, we know the Seder from the order of the ceremony at Passover. Great. Another word begins with
Simcha.
Simcha is the word that the mystics associated the most with this letter. Simcha, the importance of simcha.
Shen or sen. Sorry.
You mean without? Sarah, did you say that? Sin. Simcha is great joy, and it's a great goal in Jewish philosophy because so many of the mystics, the rabbis, they suffered greatly from depression, and they realized the importance that nothing can really be done in morose depression, really, that no action can be taken. And they warned against that, although if you were at my Hasidic workshop, Nachman of Bratslav says, don't ignore the sadness, invite the sadness in and watch how the simcha overtakes the sadness. That was Nachman's prescription, that we should always be in simcha. So that is one of the main words connected to this letter. Another word, anybody?
Hello.
Jesse, yeah.
Okay. One word is Simon, as in Siman Tov, U'Mazel Tov, Siman Tov.
Siman Tov. I don't even know what Siman. Does anybody know what Siman?
Sign.
A sign.
It means a sign.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Siman Tov. Good signs.
Tov.
Thank you. All these years I've grown up with that song, never knew what that meant. Thank you, Jesse.
Saviv, isn't that a word?
Aviv.
Circle?
Aviv is another important word the mystics associated with this letter. Saviv, which means a circle. Which also, they remind us about the cyclical nature of nature, of the trees, that there's a time for blossoming, there's a time for leaves falling off, there's a time for winter. So something about the circle of life, the circle of seasons, is involved in this letter as well. During Hanukkah, we call it a dreidel, but in Hebrew, do you know what it's called?
Isn't it Sivivot?
It's sevivon. It's sevivon, something that goes around and around. Sevivon, sof, sof, sof. Chag Tov. Yeah. We don't know that song too well in America, but in Israel, that's the Hanukkah. That's the great dreidel song in Hanukkah.
Also Sof.
Sof.
Sof or Ein Sof.
Ein Sof, without end, which is a perfect description of the Samech. It's without end. It goes round and round. There's a beautiful midrash. Oh my God, I'm so happy we found this. It's a Hasidic midrash about the glory of our goddess of dance, the Miriam, the prophetess, our patron saint of dance. And in this midrash about her crossing the Red Sea and then breaking out in timbrels and drums and dancing, it's the first time we hear of dancing in the Torah, is associated with Miriam and her dancers. The Midrash says that when Moses sings his song to the people first, that he's talking in the future, that we will be joyous when we will get to the promised land. And they noticed that the verb change with Miriam, that she sings almost the same song, but she says, we will be joyous now. Now, we won't wait. We're going to do it now. And not only that, but the rabbis pointed out that her circle dances. Now, you know, in the Torah, it doesn't really say circle dances, but in Hasidic culture and in Eastern Europe, it was only circle dances. So they put that on there, but they say that her circle dances were the ideal vision of utopia, where no one was leading, no one was following, everybody in a circle is equidistance. So the circle, Miriam's circle, became very sacred, a concept. So enough spieling. Why don't we get up and, you know, before you get into the architecture with your hands and your fingers and all that, I'd like you to just experiment. There's a joy that happens when you make circle patterns, figure eights and spheres. And I'd love you to try that right now in your room. And I will give you some music from...
Remember, you have to share your sound again, Bruce.
Oh, okay, yes, thank you. Oh, Dorit. So appreciate you. Okay. Avraham Fried. Okay, let me just see. Let me give you... Sorry. Yeah, just keep making circles. Here we go. Here's a nigun. Yeah, well, this is nigun simcha. Associated with the Baal Shem Tov. Circle patterns around your space. That shape now with your arms. Okay, now I'm going to take it down a notch. And I'm going to start to layer some of the meanings of Samech as you sort of in your own body find the gestures. Okay? So take a walk. Let's calm down, just cool down. Take a Samech walk around. Yeah. Tracing the pattern on your good. Tracing the pattern of Samech on your floor. And finding that Samech gesture, whether in your hands or in your arms, as you walk the pattern. This is your happy walk. All the things that make you happy, summer, vacation, gardening, sewing, cooking, good friends, be gesund, good health, all the things that just bring you sunshine happiness. Walk that pattern. Now there's a little there's a little secret to the choreography of Samech. The character of Samech knows and understands that because it's human, it falls. I wonder if you can just find a fall in your dance. Let your knees bend. Let the gravity just for a second let you fall without really falling, of course. Be careful with this. Modulate for yourself. There's an aspect of falling in Samech. Very good. I see it. Wow. I see it. Very good. Yes, Peggy. That's wonderful. Yes. You'll see this falling too in Yemenite men's dances. You'll see this falling. Now, along with this falling, of course, is the feeling of being supported and lifted. That's a big concept in Samech. Falling, but being supported and being lifted back up. How many times in our lives have we been lifted back up from falling? Too many to count. Falling and rising, but almost as if someone or something is pulling you up, pulling you up. Now add that to your choreography of the Samech pattern on the floor and your Samech arms, your Samech shape. Shape, falling, rising, circle patterns. Very good. Let me keep adding on to your beautiful dances. Keep going. Keep finding the pleasurable movement that pleases you. And another concept of Samech is to surround. Indeed, the word itself means to surround, that you're surrounded. You're surrounded by love all the time, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not, we're surrounded. Can you surround yourself with this letter of protection? It's a letter of protection. The arms of providence, the arms of the divine universe, surrounding you, protecting you, supporting you, lifting you. Keep going. Surrounding. Surrounding. Almost just hugging yourself and hugging the world and hugging your space, surrounding it with love and positivity. That's the character of Samech. Yeah, we may fall, we may get sad, but this letter is a letter of protection and surrounding you with lift. Beautiful. Now I'm going to activate the job of Samech for each of you. Samech not only once it feels that it's supported and surrounded by the universe and that you're held and supported, Samech gives support out to those that need support too.